Dusting, dusting, dusting up the gin. Dusting up the gin so I don't let the spiders in.
No nonsense gin drinking. All gin, no nonsense.
Hello gin lovers, welcome back. I'm Bobby Freeman, and today, my friends, we have a slightly different video for you today because I am going to be making my own gin. I thought to myself, you know what, I've been telling people what tastes good and what tastes bad in the world of gin for so long now, it's about time I actually made my own. And this is how I'm going to do it, using this beautiful little kit here, which was sent to me by the lovely people at Do Your Gin. And it basically just gives you all the botanicals lined up here. You got all the botanicals there, a couple little bottles over there, and a spout, and all you do is basically put vodka in there, because gin is essentially vodka. They're basically an almost identical spirit, but obviously gin has all these extra botanicals in there. And depending on what sort of gin you like, you might like it strong on juniper, strong on citrus, or less on citrus, or whatever you want. So you use different amounts of the botanicals to make your perfect gin. So obviously it's going to take a few days to do this. So I bought myself a little bottle of vodka here, Smirnoff vodka, which, you know, I picked that because everyone's going to know this brand and have access to it if you want to do the same thing as me. And yeah, I'm going to get stuck in with the botanicals and I will report back to you when it is done. So then, gin lovers, what has old Freeman created for you here? Well, the more perceptive amongst you will realise that there's two bottles here, and that is because as I was going through the process of making this gin, my girlfriend saw what was going on and she decided she wanted a piece of the action as well. So she's made one too. So we have Freeman's gin over here and Larissa's gin over here. And we're going to start with Larissa's gin, not least because, as you can see, there is a little bit missing out of this bottle, and that's because we did have a little snifter already, because I didn't want to try my own one because I wanted to experience it for the first time with you today on the video, like I do with all my gins, so it's, you know, nice and genuine and we're all experiencing it together. Now, before I tell you what botanicals Larissa put into her gin, it is worth mentioning the colour, because many of you will be noticing and thinking, what on earth has he got on those bottles, because it don't look like the gin that we know and love. And you would be right, and that is because this is not distilled gin. It's not a London dry gin. To be a London dry gin, it has to go through the distillation process where you evaporate it, it goes through tubes, it comes out the other end, it's a pure spirit. This is a very, very cut back, sort of pure and basic way of doing it, which is called cold compounding, where you literally just macerate the botanicals in the vodka. In fact, I can safely say I've been furiously macerating over the last 2 days. Now, Mom, if you are watching, hopefully you didn't get that joke, but if you did, then, you know, what can I say? It must be the way you brought me up. So then, what did Larissa put in this gin, I hear you ask? Well, I've got the little list here. So Larissa went for 1 test tube of juniper. That's because I'd used both the other you've got 3 test tubes of juniper in this kit, and I decided to use both in that one, so she didn't have much choice. So yeah, she used 1 test tube of juniper, then she had some bay leaf, she put some lavender, just a tiny bit of lavender, some hibiscus, black peppercorns, and then she went a bit creative. She got a couple of ingredients that weren't actually in the set. She found a little bit of cinnamon, only a tiny little bit, about that much, popped it in, because obviously there's not very much liquid in there. And here is the absolute stroke of genius. Wow, we weren't sure if it was going to be genius or completely ruin it. My mum was visiting for the weekend, actually, and she'd made us some like caramel fudge, and we thought, why not whack a bit of that in there? Now, it did make it go a little bit cloudy, but I tell you what, it was quite extraordinary. So let me just relive it for you right now. Should we do that? I'm not going to bother doing the cork test because, to be honest, the bottles were so small, as you can hear. Oh, it's not too bad, actually. I should have done it. Never mind, never mind. So whack a little bit in there. And the beauty of this is, because it's a little bit lighter than mine, because I use more juniper in there. When you put the tonic in, have a look at this. It goes kind of a beautiful, I don't know if you can see that, a beautiful kind of rose gold colour, which just looks absolutely amazing, I think. And the taste, one second. Oh, honestly, I did wonder You know, I've never made gin before. I don't know what I'm doing. I know a bit about gin, but I'm an extremely amateur gin maker. Well, I'm not even an amateur gin maker. I've never made it before. I'm just a guy that talks about gin and has had a go with a kit that someone sent to me. However, me and Larissa just whacked a few botanicals in there, and it is extraordinary. Like one of the most pleasant gins I've ever tasted, seriously. So the biggest flavors are the cinnamon, which is interesting because we only put a tiny little bit in there, as I said, but also sort of what works very well with the kind of sort of sweetness of the cinnamon is she went quite heavy on the black peppercorns, which I didn't put in mine, but oh my goodness, those two are the just big sort of bold flavors, and they're just getting together, and they're having a sort of a Viennese waltz around the dance. It's just around the glass. God damn it. You don't get huge amounts of bay leaf in there. The lavender, a tiny, tiny scattering, because that's quite a big flavour there. I said about the black peppercorns. The juniper is slightly weaker, but obviously it's definitely there, because it's still sort of a fair amount for the amount of liquid that we put in. Now, the caramel fudge, I reckon we probably could have gone a bit further. The trouble is, as I say, we put it in there, it went a little bit murky, so we didn't want to go too heavy, but I think we could have pushed it. It's got a faint hint of this sweetness to it, but you never know. If we had done it, maybe it might have gone too far, because when you've got a big, weird and wonderful flavour in that there, so I think it can dominate if you're not careful. So maybe I think all in all, we were just so pleased with it. I cannot wait to make another one. So then, that brings me to old Freeman's gin over here. Now, let me tell you what I put in this one, because as you can see, it does look a little bit like a urine sample from someone with a bladder infection. And the reason for that primarily is when I put the juniper in, I put double the amount of juniper that was in this one, and I actually cracked it as well, because I cracked the actual juniper, put it in a tea towel as you saw in the video, and just give it a good old smash. And straight away, as soon as you put the junipers in there, these sort of tendrils of sort of brownness just sort of snaking down. It was beautiful to watch. The whole thing was just so much fun. I loved it. So here goes. Here's what I put in mine. It's more of a sort of a purist gin. I didn't go for any sort of weird and wonderful flavours in there. So I got 2 lots of juniper, 2 of those test tubes I showed you. I got cardamom in there. I put licorice root. This is all the stuff you saw in the little montage just then. Coriander seeds, hibiscus. Again, when you put the hibiscus in, those tendrils that were brown with the junipers, these were bright crimson. It just looked like sort of almost like blood sort of cascading down. It was amazing. I also put a tiny bit of lavender in there because I quite like what was that gin, the Tarquins? Where is it? Yeah, Tarquins up there. That I know had lavender in it. I really, really liked it. I think if you went overboard with lavender, you could really overpower it, and it would just taste like, you know, old lady's perfume. So I just put a tiny little bit in there. And of course, my old favourite, the orange peel. As you saw on the montage, I went full bore with the orange peel because I do like an orangey gin. So my friends, here we go. This is the big one. We'll do a little cork test. We won't dwell on it. Here we go. Oh yes, old Freeman's cracked the cork test straight away. That's very pleasing. However, I've just realised I didn't bring another glass out. I can't be bothered to go and get one from the house. So do I have one? Well, the other one I've got is my martini mixing glass here, which is rather uncouth. I've actually got a sponge down there as well. I don't know why that's there. I guess I need to wash my car maybe. So then, here we go. Let's get it in the old mixing glass. It's not what I say very often. So, do the sniff test. It's very junipery, very, very junipery. Or you could say, in other words, it's very, very gin-y. So let's not dwell on that. I just cannot wait to try this. This is my very first gin, my first ever gin made by my own fair hands. So, ladies and gentlemen, I say to you, Freeman's gin, cheers. Oh. Okay, a very different beast to Larissa's gin. That, to be honest, wow, you cannot get more gin than that, because good Lord above, sweet heaven and the angels, that's got a lot of juniper. I think there could actually be more juniper than actual liquid in there. It's almost a juniper liqueur. Let me have another go. Hang on a second. Yeah, I suspect it's actually quite nice. Sometimes I say when you try a new gin, you have to have a couple of goes to settle into it, and it's actually quite nice. Once you sort of get over that initial sort of, you know, truckload of juniper just hitting you at 60 miles an hour, it's actually quite nice. There's not much else going on in there, if I'm honest. I was hoping the lavender might come through a little bit, and then I was hoping it would be I put loads of orange in there, like absolutely loads. Maybe I should have put more, but I was hoping it might be a little bit more orangey than that. But this is the beauty, you see, of having your own kit with all different botanicals. Even, yeah, it's not quite how I wanted it to be. And to be honest, even if it had turned out awful, it doesn't matter, because you just go and make a different one. Learn your lessons from that one. Say, I didn't like that so much, didn't like that so much. I probably wouldn't crack the juniper next time, or perhaps not use so much. But now I know I could just go and make a better one. And as you can see, I'm so glad that Larissa made one as well, because out of the two, to be honest, that's by far my favourite. It's absolutely, I wish I could bottle it and sell it and send it to you all. Maybe I should, I don't know, maybe that's an idea. I didn't realise how much I would enjoy the process of it as well. It's kind of just popping the little things. It's a very simple thing. It's just dropping those botanicals into that funnel and watching them go down and sit in the liquid, and I say all the tendrils and colours changing. It was just genuinely a brilliant experience, from making it and of course the drinking it. So then the big question is, what's it going to cost you and where is it available? Well, it's obviously available here in the UK, but it's also available all over Europe, I believe, and also in America and Canada as well. I don't think it's available further afield, but from when I've gone on their website, that's the areas where you can order it from. So here in the UK, it's going to cost you £46. Over in Europe, it will cost you €49, and in America, it'll be $49. I'm not sure what it is in Canadian dollars. Maybe it's the same, I don't know. But all in all, as an experience, I think that's pretty good value for money, to be honest. Some people say it might be a bit pricey for the size of bottle you get, but to be honest, you're not just buying a bottle, are you? And very often we'll get gins at that sort of price, but you don't get that whole experience of it. And also, you can make sort of like 2 or 3, but I think you could probably make even more than that, because I've still got loads of those botanicals left. I mean, not all of them, the juniper's gone, but again, you can order more from the website. It's starting to sound a bit like a commercial, isn't it? It genuinely isn't. They just sent it to me, I tried it, and you know, I love it. So then, gin lovers, bit of a different video as I said today, but I hope you've enjoyed it, because it's been great fun making it. If you're looking for something for a gift for a friend who likes gin, or just something to indulge in, you could seriously do a lot worse than this. So go and have a look at them. I'll put a link in the section below. I'm not allowed to put links to sites that sell alcohol, but because they're just selling the botanicals, I believe I can do this. So I'll put a link in the section below. Go and check it out and get one and have some fun, and let me know how you get on. And as always, don't forget to subscribe to my show and press the little like button on the video. And if you want to support me in the show, then please head over to my Patreon page as well, the link for which is in the section below. But until next time, guys, you know the drill. Take care, stay safe, and keep drinking the gin.